Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Kentucky Go Digital Live. I am so excited, you guys, for our third episode in our December series with superintendents creating and using digital tools with their districts. So it's been a really exciting month so far. We have talked to Brian Harper from McCracken County on using Google Hangouts with his principals. We have talked to last week Mr. Dotson from Carter County and his entire digital infrastructure. And if you missed any of those episodes, they are always available for you on our YouTube channel on demand at Kentucky Go Digital, kygodigital.com. So today is a special day, and we are going to be talking to Mark Kopp from Franklin County Schools. But first, I want to introduce my Kentucky Go Digital Live team, which is kind of light today. We're missing a few of our friendly faces. I think Heather might be popping in and out, but she is with the Office of Education Technology with the Kentucky Department of Ed, and she may be popping in and out or joining us on the hashtag. We have Elaine Abernathy. She is a Technology Integration Specialist for McCracken County Schools. Hello, Elaine.
Hey guys, I'm really excited to be learning about using this tool that I usually use as a personal thing, but for district-wide. So this is going to be a great episode. Thanks, Brooke.
So Elaine is going to be our technical support for today's episode, and she is going to be answering your questions on the YouTube live chat and also answering any questions that pop up for us on the hashtag. So if you are watching live on YouTube, be sure to introduce yourself in the live chat and let us know who you are and where you are from. So with that being said, I would like to introduce our esteemed guest, Mr. Mark Kopp. He is the superintendent of Franklin County Schools. And hey, listen, you just go ahead and mute yourself because I ain't done talking yet. So yeah, I see him unmuting like my introduction is going to be short. Not hardly. So Mark is special to me, and everybody gets to learn all about that right now here on Kentucky Go Digital Lab. So I met Mark about 10 years ago when he was working for KDE, and I was a social studies teacher, and we met through the Teaching American History grant. And Mark has been my greatest mentor in my whole career. He hired me as the instructional technology coordinator, which just so happened to be my dream job about 3 years ago. So I am so excited for him to be a superintendent in Franklin County and for everybody out in Kentucky Go Digital Land to learn all about one of my favorite humans ever. So you can unmute yourself now and talk.
Hey, thank you very much. That's about as good of introduction as I've ever received. So thank you. And the feeling is mutual. I think I've told Brooke before, I am the president of the Brooke Whitlow fan club, and we are blessed to have her in the state. I mean, she, as you all know, she defines what an innovator is. And the fact
listen, this show is not about me. This is about you.
Okay, that's fine, but still, thank you for those kind words. And I'm happy to be here, and I'm really excited to talk about how we use Facebook Live as a two-way communication tool in our district. We have found it to be an extremely valuable tool, and it really allows us, we're the 22nd largest district in the state out of 173. We have 13 schools, and we have a very large geographic region. You know, we have really an east and a west side to our district. So being able to use a tool like this is really impactful when we need to get information out, not just from a one-way perspective, but for also soliciting feedback. That's why we use this tool. I'd be remiss, by the way, if I didn't at this time also introduce Armando Aristia. Armando is our district communication guru, and I don't know if you can see Armando over there or not. But yeah, Armando's sitting next to me on his laptop, and he's here also to address any technical issues and questions that you might have. He sets these things up. He's amazing at what he does. He brings his little tripod, and we roll from there. So it allows me just to focus on delivering the content. And if you have any technical questions about how we set it up, and he's going to get into that in a little bit. So good to be with you today.
Well, thank you. I'm sitting here thinking, I don't think I did a very good job like introducing our topic. So, we've featured superintendents on the show this month with a lot of the tools that they're using with their staff and with their principals and, with their districts as a whole and those digital infrastructures and things like that. And so your topic today is really unique for our series this month, in that it is all about Facebook and how you have promoted this culture of transparency in your whole county, which is nice, because we're going to talk about stakeholders today too, all of our stakeholders. And so I think that the way that you guys in Franklin County have used Facebook is just really unique, and it's refreshing, and I have enjoyed following along just as a total outsider, just liking your Facebook page and just seeing the content that you guys are sharing. And so, I feel like I'm probably going to make a lot of connections to our Melody Stacy episode on culture, because so much just in the preparation for this episode and talking with you goes right along with what Melody Stacy shared last month in one of our Kentucky Go Digital episodes. So I'm really excited to get started. So Mark, you want to just kind of jump into sort of why you decided to use Facebook? We hear a lot about Twitter, especially in the professional world. So talk to me a little bit about Facebook and why you sort of went that direction.
Sure. So, excuse me. I'm a little under the weather today, so I'm fighting through it. Facebook is a wonderful tool because, frankly, just about everyone uses Facebook in some way, shape, or form. And Facebook's great for looking at cat videos and who you dated in high school and how the big team did and all of those things, and those tasty recipe things. Those are awesome too. But what we tried to do with Facebook, and what Armando's really, frankly, been doing with it here in the district even before I came along, was really open it up to kind of open the layers to how a school operates. And we tweet all the time. I'm always tweeting, Armando is as well, all the great things that are going on in our district. And Twitter is a fantastic communication tool, but what Facebook takes it to a different level for with us is it allows us to share in real time those live videos of our current happenings, and it allows people to comment on those videos. And we're one of the districts, and I know there are some districts out there that don't allow comments when they use Facebook. We are 100% the opposite. I want to see those comments. And we'll get into talking about some of that stuff in a little bit. It truly needs to be, in my opinion, a two-way tool, and that's how we use it. When we first started talking about how a new superintendent taking over in a district, how can we share what message and the message that I wanted to bring to our district, how can we share it most effectively? So I sat down with Armando, with our two assistant superintendents, and we talked and said, let's set up some public meetings. So we set up two, what we call Meet with Mark, one on the east side of town, one on the west side of town, and set it up in a time where people from the community could come in, they could meet me, we could sit and talk, they could ask questions, and I could share kind of the vision for what our district was going to focus on this year. So we scheduled those two meetings, and combined at those two meetings, which each one, we scheduled for about an hour. We had about 15 total people that showed up to those meetings, 15, 20. And we had, less than 10 questions that were asked. And I think people wanted to come and wanted to hear what I had to say, but sometimes in those settings where it's you and them, people sometimes get a little, I don't want to bring this up. I don't want to talk about this here. And they'll try to grab you at the end of the meeting and say, well, if I can talk to you just individually here, because they don't want to say it in a public setting. What Facebook does is it completely removes those inhibitions. It allows people to comment, question. It allows them to have a voice, if for lack of a better word. So we scheduled a Meet with Mark on Facebook that followed those two those two meetings that we had in town. The Meet with Mark on Facebook, we had about an hour to an hour and a half that set aside, ended up being about an hour. We had nearly 3,000 views instead of 15 or 20 people. We had 3,000 views of the video. We had 85 comments or questions that came in during the video that we were able to address. And some of them were really positive, some of them weren't. And there were some questions that people had about how certain things were going to happen. And I valued that feedback. I think all of us need to value feedback every day. Sure, there are opportunities using social media where it can be a little scary not knowing exactly what's going to be said. And there are some things that we do have to filter when we do these videos. But we really, truly love the fact that it's free. It is so easy to set up. And we'll talk about technically how we set it up in just a few minutes. And it really does provide people a voice. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I love that. It's interesting that, you guys, okay, so let me just tell you that I totally troll the comments on Facebook and read the comments and on pretty much anything. It's news reports, I troll the comments, just pretty much everywhere. So I love going back to your videos and reading, some of the comments. And one thing that I want to just real quick hop in, I'm going to screen share with you guys real quick. We do have a slide deck for this presentation today, which is bit.ly/2adz5px. So you guys can pause that and grab that link, because the reason I wanted to bring that up is we have lots of links for you all in this slide deck for you guys to go back and look at. And so I pulled up this example. Let's see, the spinning wheel of death there. And I just screenshot some of the comments that were on I don't even remember what post necessarily that were on there that I pulled those from. But it's just like talking about promoting a sense of community. We talk a lot here on Kentucky Go Digital and on our hashtag about building our tribe and, making people feel like they're a part of their community. And so being able to look at, these positive comments and giving everybody a voice, I think is really essentially what you have kind of done here in Facebook land, which is really nice. And so I forgot to mention at the very beginning, you guys can find Mark in Franklin County Schools at facebook.com/oneteamfcs. So that is that's their actual site there for their Facebook. So
Brooke, by the way, I don't mean to interrupt. Sorry, I can't see.
You're good.
I can't see the things that you're sharing. Is that? I mean.
Well, it's actually, so I have two videos. So I screen shared on the one where I wasn't speaking. So that's probably why you're seeing my face and not the screen. No worries. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody had a chance to get that short link to the presentation, because I did link you up, everyone up to some of my video or some of my favorite videos that are on there. So I just have a quick question on that comment, kind of going back to that. And, you definitely have built a community in the comments here and with the people in Franklin County. But, did you ever block comments before? I want to just kind of talk about the technical piece of that. Was comments ever closed on Facebook? And what kind of made you decide to open that up if it was blocked?
Sure, no problem. I don't mind to address that at all. And I'm going to share my screen in just a minute, just so you can see all of the different videos that we've done since I came in July. We've never blocked comments. Occasionally, we've had there have been a comment or two from some folks that have had nothing to do with whatever video that we were showing. In particular, we have one person who has a couple of agendas that he is really pushing, and none of them have to do with school at all. And he will post something on school that will talk about his particular agenda, and we'll we'll silence that comment. Armando, is there anything you want to share with that?
Yeah, like Mark said, we have never, can you hear me okay, Brooke? Okay. We have never blocked comments, and I think the sentiment basically is that comments allow us to really gauge what people are hearing from us and to gauge what they think about it. And so if we don't get that kind of feedback, then we're just kind of in a bubble and we're not able to respond to what people think or what questions they have or what concerns they have. So the issue with banning comments, we only ban certain people for comments that they make if they don't have any relevancy to what we are doing as an educational organization. So if there's a direct link, even not a direct link, if there's an indirect link from what they're talking about to what we're talking about, that's fine. But when it's an entirely different agenda, we just don't feel like it's appropriate, particularly if it's an agenda that is not particularly healthy or friendly towards students.
Right.
And I'd be glad to talk about that in more detail if it's okay with Mark. But
sure, absolutely.
The specific agenda has to do with legalizing marijuana. And that's all well and good if that's what the General Assembly wants to talk about. But at this point, it has nothing to do with our education system. And we don't think it's appropriate to talk about that in a forum that is used by students. Again, if that's a public policy decision the legislature makes, they can go for it. But we don't feel like that's inappropriate. We don't feel like our Facebook page or our website or any of our venues, actually any of our media, are appropriate venues for that conversation.
So we're not silencing anyone that has anything relevant to say. In other words, if you have something relevant to say, even if could be considered a little, ooh, that's kind of harsh or whatever, that's okay. I mean, sometimes people have questions that they need to have answered, and it's our obligation in education to, let's communicate effectively. 98 to 99% of the problems in the world they stem from a result of a lack of communication. I'm a firm believer in that. So you know what? Let's find ways to better communicate. Let's over communicate. So
I'm writing that down. Like that's a tweet comment right there, because what you just said about the problem stemming from miscommunication. And I mean, you're so right. Like that's always something too that I've admired about your leadership style in general is, we've talked about your coacher philosophy, and it just goes back to that and being transparent and the importance of promoting transparency with all your stakeholders. So I love that you brought that up.
Well, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. It's true. And so, I think too, I just lost my train of thought. Oh my gosh, it's been one of those days, y'all.
I can jump back in and say something while you're grabbing it. If I have shared my screen here, and if you'll take a look over, these are just the videos that we've put on there since the beginning of the year. This one right here that I'm kind of hovering over was the first Meet with Mark video that we had. And then anytime we have a chance to do some things that are important about what our message is and to improve the culture and climate of the school, the One Team FCS, that's our hashtag that we created to really come together and talk about the importance of teamwork. I mentioned geographically, we are a pretty large district. We have an east and a west side, but at the end of the day, our two high schools, they're going to be ultra competitive with each other, but we need to collaborate. So we share as many instances of that as possible. And let me just share this with you real quick. This is a short video. This was the day, sorry, by the way, this was the day that it was our back to school day. It was, our district staff day, the opening day. Sorry, it was opening day. And we decided that one of the most important things that we could do in a district was show how much our teachers meant to us and show how, as a central office, it's really our job to support them. So we actually cooked out for all of our teachers in our district, all of our, not just teachers, but our custodians, our cooks, our bus drivers. We have over 1,000 employees, and we had a big cookout at Franklin County High School. And while we were there, Armando took this video of us, and I'll just share this with you very quickly. It's a short video.
Forgive my appearance here, but we're grilling here for all of our employees, and that grill is super duper hot right now. So, hey, we just wanted to share this with you. I think it's really important that our central office serve our schools, our staff, our support that we provide is crucial, and it's important that our schools and all of our employees understand that that's what we're here for in terms of being a central office. We are here to support the schools and to serve the schools. So that's what we're doing today. We're cooking lunch for everyone. We're going to serve them lunch. Really excited that members of our Board of Education are going to be here also to serve all of our employees. So real excited. It's going to be a fun day. It's a little warm, but hey, we're having fun. So have a good one.
So just a quick video there. I want to show you one other the kind of the next video after that happened was our middle school that's right next door. They were the first school to come and eat, and I want you to see how they came to the picnic. Just really quickly. As a school, new principal, by the way. This was really important from a culture perspective what they did right here, and it was really awesome. And we captured this on Facebook Live.
These were your two bands, is that right?
What's that?
These were your two high school or middle school bands?
This is one middle school. Yeah, this was Elkhorn Middle School, and this is them. They came right next door because we're at Franklin County High School, and look how they come in, arm in arm. The new principal right there in the middle, and this was a school that had some cultural issues, frankly, and look how excited they were.
Oh, these are teachers. Okay,
these are
okay.
all staff members. Yes.
Oh, fun. See, what I really love about this is, you know, it just takes the mystery out of, like, you know, people, oh, what are teachers doing? I don't know. It just opens up the conversation and makes everybody feel like they're a part of what's going on in your schools and your classrooms and your districts. I mean, it's so powerful. That gave me cold chills. I love that.
Well, and it's an easy win. You know, it's an easy win that they did that, and we were able to capture that moment. And anyone now can look that up, and you can ask the question, well, how's the culture at Elkhorn Middle School? Well, we got a video to show you to talk about that. Hey, here's another one. And I won't show you the whole thing, but the first football game of the year was between the two high schools. Huge rivalry with Western Hills going to Franklin County High School. And at halftime, the two bands of both schools decided, in the spirit of one team FCS, that they would perform together. And we were able to quickly capture this. I'll share that with you very, very briefly.
Kopp, Superintendent at Franklin County Schools, real excited because both of our bands are getting ready to perform right here. And, you know, we can have some healthy competition in all of our events, athletic and whatnot. But it's great to see one team FCS come together. So let's watch and enjoy.
And so then the band comes, both bands together, come out on the field. They played. They sounded amazing. And you can see the comments over to the side about how awesome it was, how both bands sounded great. There were obviously some questions there. What's the score of the game and things like that. But really, it's an easy win when you're able to share those moments too. So we've used it both ways. We've been able to share. We've been able to share. The things that are going on in our district. We've also been able to, at the same time, have these instances where we could have some dialogue with our folks. When the eclipse thing happened and people had lots of questions about the eclipse, we were able to, through Facebook Live, address some of those concerns and questions. And, you know, it's a wonderful two-way tool for us.
So, okay, so going back to that video real quick that you did with the bands at the football game. So So that was you on your phone, I'm assuming. Can you let everybody know like kind of the logistics of that? Because
Yeah,
you know, I feel
that's
like
a great question. So what I'm going to do with this, if I can avoid not screwing this up too badly, is I'm going to hold this over here. There's Armando, and I'm going to have him talk about how he set that up.
Hey, everybody. So it's really pretty simple. The Facebook Live platform allows you to shoot or to broadcast using an iPhone. So essentially you download the Facebook app on your iPhone. I assume there's an Android app, but I'm an iPhone guy, so I'm talking about iPhone. You go to your Facebook page and you hit the little live button, and it allows you to enter a little description that sort of introduces what's going to happen. And then you hit done, and when you're ready to start filming, you hit the live button or the film button, and it counts down 3, 2, 1, and then starts broadcasting live. So it'll run as long as you can. As long as you have a battery on your phone, it'll just keep broadcasting. And you can use the phone just like you would any other video camera, walking around, talking to people. One of the things I suggest is that you use some sort of a handheld device to hold the phone, because you get a lot of shaking, a lot of vibration or movement in the phone. So you want to try to stabilize the image. And you can do it, you can swap your phone so it shoots forward or backwards. So Mark could very well have done that video on his own holding his phone. In that particular case where the bands were performing, I was holding the phone and videotaping him or taping him while the bands were in the background. Now, a couple of cautionary notes I would throw out. If you're going live, you're live. So you can't prevent certain things from happening. I was at a choir concert the other night shooting live, and the choir apparently got a little jittery and nervous. So the choir director stopped their first song or second song and said, "We're going to do a redo here." And so that's all live. People see that he stopped and started over. When you're in the classroom, you've got to make sure your students have AUPs, that they have permission slips signed that allow them to be videotaped for broadcast. And so, you have to be concerned about those kinds of logistical and policy related details when you're doing this. And in some situations, you may want to tape it and then go back and edit it using a tool like iMovie that allows you to cut it down. So you could do a 15-minute segment, tape it, and then later go out and shoot it on Facebook, so that you're not really broadcasting live, but you can still use the video and communicate the same message. And again, with the comments, you can still get some two-way feedback on that, and let people comment on what's going on.
Oh goodness, that's making me a little seasick.
Sorry about that. And I'm sorry about the coughing too. I'm trying my best, but.
So yeah, I just think it's really cool that, with this tool having, the ability to immediately bring your stakeholders into whatever it is that's going on is really powerful, because you've got the app on your phone. There is an Android app as well. It's just the Pages app. And Elaine's going to kind of talk a little bit here at the end about kind of setting up your live feed. So, okay. So we've talked a little bit about the different ways you've used this, just to kind of reiterate a little bit. You talk a little bit about the construction piece. We haven't talked about that yet. Your construction.
Yeah. So we are building a new school, and anytime you build a new school, it's always a fun process, right? We're building a new school in a neighborhood that's right next to the old school. And so we have lots of houses around the neighborhood, and they're being interrupted early in the morning with construction noise and big, huge equipment. And we try to be good neighbors as much as we possibly can. But it's really hard when you're doing a construction project to not make any noise. And we knew going into it that we would be making some people not incredibly happy during that process. So again, going back to what I said earlier, well, we need to over communicate with them. So what we've done is we're using Facebook to give construction updates, and we've got Facebook Live to show where we are in the process, and we're using it to, again, solicit some feedback when those videos go on. And someone said, well, you know, a construction thing started up at 5 in the morning one morning. They weren't supposed to do that. They weren't supposed to start before 7 a.m. But we were able to find that information out and then address it with the contractor. And even the contractor said, well, they're not supposed to be there. That allowed us, again, another level, a layer, if you will, of communication that we could effectively stop that from happening and continue to have a dialogue with all of the neighbors. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that's awesome because there's just, you know, just like you said, there's so many different layers as to how you're using this. You know, you're reaching people who may have not come to meet with Mark, you know, event, or the, you know, coming together of the teachers, coming together of, you know, at the band, at the football game. And then here we have, you know, your construction. And I think another piece to that construction too is you just said earlier that your district is a large district. And so it's nice for people on Facebook to be able to see the progress of the construction site too. So, you know, you're communicating with your stakeholders in so many different ways. You know, I think about we just finished building Cecilia Valley. I've not even seen it. I don't even know what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? So I think that piece of it is really cool too, even though, I don't know, I mean, I'm just saying with the ability to do this very quickly and easily from your pocket and going live anywhere and just, you know, promoting transparency. I just love it. It's awesome.
Well, thank you. And that's really the whole key to it is to be transparent. We have to be transparent in everything that we do. And we have to share the good things that are going on in our schools. You know, what happens is, and you live in a town where there's a daily newspaper. We also have a daily newspaper here. And the newspapers and the media folks are really quick to jump on anything that's negative, right? They very rarely want to just unsolicited do a story about all the wonderful things going on. So it's really up to us in school districts to do our own promotion. We have to make sure that all the good things that we have going on are getting out into the community so it can counterbalance truly if there are any potential negative things. And districts, a lot of districts have a full-time media person or public relations person. Armando is actually a contract employee with us where he's not full-time, but what he's able to do in an efficient way is with a limited number of hours in a week, he can focus on all of those really great positive things that are going on. And using social media, we get them out to thousands of people every day when that happens. How many people read the newspaper anymore? That's my question.
Well, I was just getting ready to ask you to talk a little bit about your reach of some of these videos and, you know, how many people are viewing them and how many, you know, people in Franklin County and beyond you're able to reach with these videos.
Yeah, so that's a really interesting question. We're getting thousands of video and thousands of views. Some have had, you know, well over 5,000 views. Some are over 6,000 views. Armando's looking at some of those right now as we speak. I've had the fortune and been blessed in my career to be able to work in 3 different states, and it's kind of funny that, you know, I had a friend in Ohio who will probably be watching this at some point because he always tries to follow what I'm doing, and he would send me an immediate screenshot of the video of me standing over the grill, for instance, and say, "Hey, you look hot. You know, what's going on? What are you doing there?" Just it has vast reach. I mean, it goes to all around the world. And I can't speak more, positively about the impact that this has had. So do you have anything to add, Armando?
With regard to reach, I'm looking at, Facebook has some really great reporting tools. And so you can click in your Facebook page on the Insights tab, and then you can set a date range. So I think you started July 1st?
Yes.
So since Mark came to the district on July 1st through today, we've had 46,000 minutes of video viewed, and 91.5 thousand video views over that 171 days. So what that basically means is that, we don't expect every video is going to be viewed by 5,000 people. But the fact is we're putting the information out there so people have the opportunity to see it if they want to see it. And parents, for one, love to see their children highlighted that way. And it's amazing the number of shares and likes and positive comments we get as a result of that. And this is something, we have done a TV show with our local cable provider and have asked a number of times for data that would tell us how many people view that show. And they can't provide that level of detail that we need. Facebook has the data right there where you can just see it and you're reaching your audience. We have about 5,500 followers of our Facebook page. So we know whenever we post something, those people are at the very least going to have the opportunity, even if they don't take it, are going to have the opportunity to see what our message is. And it's a great way to show, as Mark said earlier, the multitude of good things that are happening in our schools.
And I would say, in addition to that it's free, folks. It's free. In education, we're trying to grab every last dollar that we can right now, and we're faced with a really negative budget situation coming up. So anytime that we can use a free tool, let's use it.
I wanted to say something. There's our F word that Heather always talks about, the F word, and free. And so, but you had said something a moment ago, and I wanted to make sure that we emphasize that, how sometimes our media just grabs on negativity, and you said that, really it's a quote that I can't find who actually said it, but we might as well, somebody's going to tell your story, we might as well tell it ourselves. And you are, with this tool, by far telling your story to those stakeholders, as Brooke has stated. But for sure, and I love it because there's so many people that also can't get out, like grandparents, and they are trolling Facebook, and they're able to see that football, program and stuff. So awesome. I'm loving it. So
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was literally just getting ready to point that out too, that, as I was scrolling your Facebook page last night, just looking for content that I wanted to, mention during our show today. And it was just classroom after classroom after classroom after classroom after classroom. And, it's just really special to see, parents like to see their kids on the Facebooks, as Jerry Brooks says. And, but you're also sharing the instruction that's happening. So from a classroom teacher perspective, it's nice to be able to see, oh, look at this lesson that is being taught in this particular teacher's classroom. And then there's, 5 or 6 pictures that go with that particular post. And so I thought that was great too, which is, again, a totally different layer that you are using with Facebook. So, and I wanted to bring up too, that I did a survey back in July, August on how instructional technology could better support our teachers. And so it was really interesting because I just kind of left the end open to get whatever comments, like, what do you like that we're doing that you want us to continue, or what would you like to see more of in the future, or whatever. And like the number one thing that that teachers said on that survey was the Facebook Live videos. And they're so dumb, because I'm like on my couch with my kids and we're like, hey, let's do a giveaway, or hey, here's this random thing I just found. And, it's just, there's not any kind of effort that goes into that, like, at all. And that was what they appreciated the most in terms of like the outreach from instructional technology. So it's just a powerful tool across the spectrum.
I completely agree. And if you are an educational leader out there, if you're a principal of a school building, I would highly recommend doing this once a week, even if it's at the end of the week. Doing a friend of mine in Ohio that I grew up with, his name is Jeff Reuter, if he happens to be seeing this at some point. Jeff does he's the principal of a Piketon High School, and they are the Piketon Red Streaks in Ohio. And he does a Red Streak Roundup video where he talks about all the great things that are going on in Piketon High School. Use Facebook for the exact same reason if you are out there. Collate all of the information that you all are, all the great things that are going on in your district, and do a little video and give parents out there a chance to chime in, either to praise a band competition or to ask a question about how a non-traditional instructional day is going to work, or whatever the issue is. It gives you that ability to instantly communicate, and that's really the main part of it. And Armando's got something.
Yeah, I just want to share that it's also an opportunity, whether you do it live or whether you video it and then post it later, to give your teachers, who are obviously the ones in the classroom doing the work with the kids, to give them an opportunity to explain what they're doing in the classroom. So on Thursday or Friday morning last week, I went to Elkhorn Elementary School, where the kids in fourth grade had built gingerbread houses representing the community, the Frankfurt community. So there were gingerbread houses of Dick's Sporting Goods, a gingerbread house of the Cookout restaurant that the kids had created. And I simply took a minute, a video of the teacher explaining what that project was, and let her in her own words explain what it is, how it works, how she integrated technology into the project. And this week they're going to be meeting online through Google Hangouts with a school in Kansas to show off their community, our community here, and then the kids from Kansas are going to show off and describe their community. But this was an opportunity for the teacher to get out there and actually explain what she's doing in the classroom and what her kids are learning. You could also interview kids and ask them what's going on. So in that particular case, we posted that video this morning. I think I posted it around 3 hours ago, and it has reached 983 people and has 387 views. And that's in real time. There's no way we could do that with really any other medium than using Facebook or social media for that purpose.
I want to jump in on that real quick, because as an educator, I've been on the Twitters for a long time, several years, and it's been an uphill battle for me to try to get people on board. Like, I know they get tired of me harping about get on Twitter, because I'm always saying it. And one thing that I realized probably a year ago is that people are already on Facebook. You don't have to harp on them to get on Facebook, because they're already there for the most part. I know that there's people out there who prefer not to be on Facebook, but at the same time, the majority of people have an account where they're scrolling while they're waiting in line at Walmart, or they're waiting in the drive-through to deposit a check at the bank or whatever. And so there's just so much opportunity that exists on Facebook, I think, to get your message out and to tell your story. Oh, look, there's Heather. Heather popped in. Hello, Heather. Welcome.
Hi, Heather. To add to that, Brooke, I wanted to let you know, like I had said a second earlier, I always use it for personal things, but now for the purpose that this district is using it for is to reach the parents and those, which would be personal. So if I'm going to use Facebook, that's definitely you are capturing your stakeholders for sure with this. Hi, Heather. Welcome. Are you okay?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, I'm just leaving Henry County, and I just wanted to give you guys a shout out. While I was in the training, we actually went to the Kentucky Go Digital Live YouTube channel, and we were able to catch a couple minutes of the show in Henry County. So super cool when we leverage the power of technology. So excited to see our friends from Franklin County, Mr. Kopp, and it looks like you have another person with you.
Yes. This is Armando. I've forgotten his last name.
Well, I'll tell you, it's Armando Aristia. He's our communications guru, for lack of a better title. So,
Thanks,
yeah,
Awesome.
sure. No problem.
We're so grateful to have you. I love following all the good work going on in Franklin County. So I'm going to listen along and mute, but I can't wait to watch the show from the beginning. And happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, everyone. So, yes. And by the way, in case you all haven't realized by looking behind me here, I'm a big Christmas guy. and Brooke always gets a kick out of that because you know, you got to decorate your office. If you're not happy at work, how can you work productively? And how can you, and by the way, and when you bring an angry parent into an office that's decorated this, tacky, Christmas tacky, which I love, by the way, how can they be mad when they look around and look at all these Christmas lights and trees and stuff? Come on. So anyway.
All right. Well, I'm so excited. I hope that I hope that we've at least convinced a few school leaders out there and district leaders to hop on the Facebook bandwagon and to start doing some live events and kind of telling their story. You know, this goes back to the Wes Bradley episode on using Blogger to tell your story. It is the same exact message that you are sharing, that Wes shared with us from a school leader perspective on, you know, creating your story. So, which, by the way, the Wes Bradley episode is available on demand at KentuckyGoDigital.com. Do I sound like an advertisement? Okay, so let's pass the mic over to Elaine. Elaine, are you good to do just a real quick little showcase of kind of setting up that live event on the Facebook?
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and share my screen. And so we actually too are trying to reach out with other people that are not necessarily on Twitter or necessarily on YouTube. So we have developed our own Kentucky Go Digital Live Facebook. And Armando, you had said something that I have not
Elaine, hang on, I'm gonna stop you right there, girl, because my face is live on YouTube again. I'm gonna need you to click on.
I'm so sorry. Okay. Even though I was sharing my screen, it didn't go automatically. So I apologize. But Armando, you said something that was really, really powerful, is the power of the data too. And so if you go into any Facebook page that you have created that is for a business or a group, like such as the Franklin County's one, or Kentucky Go Digital, you can, once you're into your page, you have these tabs up here. And Armando said that the Insights tab gives you a whole bunch of data, and you can go and search that data for as far as exact dates or exact videos or whatnot. So that is a very powerful tool as well to see what your viewers or your stakeholders are watching and that kind of stuff. So that is very powerful. But to go live, we have the area to do that is when you go into your page, you can go into the, let's see, Jess was there. So I wanted to create an event and I wanted to go live. Now, Armando, if I am messing this up, you let me know. But it was right there. And that is one thing about, I mean, you just have to get used to where your buttons are. But we wanted to go live. I'm losing it right here. Where did it go?
Okay, I've unmuted for a second. Armando's going to say something.
Okay.
Help me out, Armando. Where did it go?
I think what Facebook does is requires that you are using either an iPhone or an Android or a Chromebook.
Well,
So
actually, I just went live a second ago with this to make sure. There we go. Start a live video. A little technical difficulties. I apologize. So let's go back and find out where that button was. So we went into the home page, and right here it was in front of my face. But you can go live from a desktop. But yes, you're correct. We can go live from the handheld device, which is awesome because then it makes you more remote or not remote. You can be moving about. So if you start a live video, you can use that, or you can connect another device or a stream. But right here, it's asking me if I want to share my screen. And so this is how we as Kentucky Go Digital are going to start doing Facebook Live as well, instead of just YouTube Live. But you can share your screen and then go live right there. So I apologize if that was confusing, but once you go into your page, now Armando's talking about how we can go into our onto your device. But I will be sharing a video of how to do that in our resources in a little bit, because I need to record that in a different way. So, but oh goodness, let's get off of that. So, but were there any questions that you saw, Brooke, that were on the YouTube that I may have missed?
We did get a question actually from our sweet friend Courtney. Courtney is not here today, and she left us a message to make sure that we ask you your advice on this piece. But Courtney is anti-Facebook. She's not a fan of the Facebook. And so, you know, we know that there are a lot of people out there who prefer living their life without Facebook. We all know why people sometimes don't get on Facebook. It's sometimes high drama. But what is your advice for people who may have those opinions of Facebook, and how would you advise them to, you know, maybe still harness the tools and the power of Facebook, but, you know,
well,
on the personal end, I guess.
You know, one thing about Facebook is it's, you know, if you're using Facebook, you're only really able to use whatever they're offering on Facebook. It's not like you can film on Facebook and pull it off and do something else. But what you can do, please excuse me, is what Armando mentioned earlier, is you can just film whatever you want to film, and then you can upload that video to multiple different platforms. So you can still do the same thing. The advantage of Facebook is it does open up that two-way communication. So to us, it's worth changing your mindset, and we all should really have a growth mindset, right? So it really is worth altering your mindset and letting it grow a little bit in order to use that tool that we find, since with it being free, with it being an open two-way line of communication, we're fans. And
and I'll jump in on this question too, because I know that I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. But you know, Chris Bauer has started our HCS teacher recruitment page on Facebook, where he started this summer sharing all of our new hires in the district. And so, you know, that's another place where the comments have just created this amazing tribe of people who are excited to see friendly faces and, you know, things like that. But I know that Chris does not have a personal Facebook. He's not a fan of Facebook. And so what he did is just created an account so that way he could still manage a Facebook page, because those are two different things. And I just wanted to make sure that we emphasize that for, you know, those of our viewers who might not be familiar with Facebook at all. But as an individual user, that's where you send friend requests and you can connect with other people. But a Facebook page is going to be your platform, like what you showcased today. And so you have to have an account on Facebook before you can create a page. And so, you know, a workaround that Chris did this summer is he just made a page. You know, he just kind of gave it an incognito name so nobody really knew who it was or whatever. He didn't attach his name to it. And then that's how he made his Facebook page for the Human Resource Department. So just kind of a workaround for those viewers out there who don't want to be connected on Facebook personally. There's still definitely options for you out there.
Armando has something to add to that as well.
Yeah, Brooke, I think you hit the nail on the head. You don't have to do anything on Facebook personally in order to benefit from the business page aspects of Facebook. What I would argue in favor of Facebook is simply that the people who have chosen to follow or like your page have chosen to do so because they want to hear from you. And so what I would ask someone like your friend is, what's the alternative to having a direct line of communication to people who want to hear from you? And that's essentially what Facebook does, is it gives you a direct line so you can communicate your message without any filtering by anybody and get it directly to people who want to hear what you have to say. Doesn't mean they're always going to agree with it. It doesn't mean you're not going to get some pushback, but it allows you to communicate directly and to gauge what people are saying about it, so you can adjust your messaging, or you can adjust the effectiveness of your message to make sure that it's clear. I mean, sometimes messages get muddled. This allows you to clarify it. So there are a lot of advantages to using it.
For sure,
I
absolutely.
wanted to. Hey, Brooke, can you hear me, darling?
I can hear you, girl. Go ahead.
Hello. Okay. All right. I wanted to chime in on that too. You know, at the principal ed camp, Allison Gregory, who's one of our Kentucky Go Digital principal leaders, she said something, and I tweeted it out. It was pretty profound. I think most of us know this, but for those who don't, she said, you know, your community is on Facebook, your colleagues are on Twitter, and your students are on Instagram. And you think about how you strategically nurture each part, you know, each stakeholder, and, you know, the different social media platforms that can be leveraged to really get to that audience. So anyways, that's just something that she said. I'm sure we could throw in some other ones too, but I thought that was pretty interesting. And Armando, I'm glad that you're here. I've never met you before, and I appreciate everything you're sharing.
I'll unmute you. There you go.
Thank you very much. I used to work where you work today, so it's nice to connect with you. And it's a pleasure to contribute about this. I'm happy to talk to anybody who wants to chat about how this works. And I know you all are too, so if anybody wants to reach out to me, I'm on the global, I think.
Yes.
So,
his last name, Armando, Arrastia.
It's a tough one.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing and everything today. I love talking culture, and I especially love talking like Facebook and Twitter and social media, because it is just so powerful and it's free, and there's just so many benefits to all of these platforms that are out there. So I appreciate you guys coming on the show today and taking time out of your schedule to be with us.
And I want to say thank you for letting us share our story with you all. And we hope that there's some value in it. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'm on the global as well, mark.kopp@franklin.kyschools.us. And good luck. And if you have any questions, give me a shout. And seriously, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Have a very safe and healthy and happy holiday season, everyone.
And you guys can also connect with Mark on Twitter. He is at FCS Mark Kopp. And don't forget to like Franklin County Schools to stay in the know, and use their example as one to kind of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say copy. We don't want to copy you, but you'll be the exemplar. How about that?
Emulate, steal. We steal in education. It's okay.
We do. You're right. You're right. And also, they can connect with all the amazing schools in Franklin County on the hashtag #OneTeamFCS. So there's a lot of really cool things happening. I love following that as well. Shout out to Stella Pollard. She's my girl in Franklin County. Where's she at? Bondurant? Is she at Bondurant Middle?
She's at Bondurant. She's amazing. And we have so many amazing folks. And yes, we really do have some cutting edge folks in terms of technology, and she's awesome, just as you are, Brooke. So
you're sweet. All right, Elaine, would you care to share how everyone can get continued support with the tools that we've talked about?
Absolutely. We have, of course, our Facebook page, Kentucky Go Digital. We have the YouTube channel at KentuckyGoDigital.com. And of course, you can always see us on Twitter at the hashtag KentuckyGoDigital. Make sure that you are creating, connecting, and sharing with all of those avenues so that our stakeholders can all get together. But thank you again, Franklin County people. It's been awesome, and I've learned so much from you as far as making sure that we get those stakeholders in all of those corners together and communicating so that we can.
All right, and don't forget to mark your calendars. Also, we've got some regional events coming up. So we've got our Region 1 Kentucky Go Digital Regional at Murray State on May 24th. We have the Region 2 on July 10th at Grec. And then our East Regional will be at Morehead State, and a date will be forthcoming soon on that. So with that being said, we hope to see you tomorrow, we will be talking to Greg Schultz, Superintendent of Oldham County Schools, on using Google Slides with CDIP planning. So thank you guys again for tuning in, and don't forget to create, connect, and share.
Get involved with Kentucky Go Digital. Attend regional events, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or follow us on Twitter.